in the other guys.
Not belly dance, ballet dance.
Ballet dance. I'm sorry.
Yes.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Did I say belly dance?
You did.
Oh,
We are live, everybody, by the way. Hello.
Mazel tov.
Welcome.
Hi.
This is how we force we're late, and this is why. Hey everybody. Welcome to It's a Long Story. This is our Wednesday group, the Mongoose crew, traveling in the South EMEA region right now. You guys are the only ones that are in the South EMEA area, we'll say, in general. So, but very, very cool. Kayla, you wanted to ask me something?
I found the DM where I told you one of the reasons Saren can speak Celestial that I forgot about. I screenshotted it and sent it to you.
Right.
It has to do with Raylor.
That's my favorite petty thing.
Doesn't
to
it
do
always?
at work, to screenshot something and be like, well, when we talked about this.
Yeah, as per my last email.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Hold on. Go ahead and tell me what the date is of this.
It'd be great if it was yesterday.
It was not. 4/27/22.
Almost a year ago.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
You said interesting. Got it. So.
I
He
did,
didn't.
which very
He
much
didn't got
meant, which very much meant, I can't read this right now, so I apologize. That is
Fine.
that is my
The Arrested Development voices, and he in fact did not have it.
yeah, I think I read part of it. It was like, okay, she's working on something, and then I just was like, okay, cool, got it.
That's also where it stopped for me. I was working on it.
Yeah.
Does everyone want to hear why she actually maybe knows Celestial? If this makes any sense?
Go for it.
Yeah.
But hold on, let me back out and go back to my own screenshot. So Raylor's patron ancestor was part Celestial, and his spells as a warlock are said in Celestial. So when he started teaching Saren a few beginner spells, she also began to learn the language.
Cool.
That sounds cooler than what I said before.
Yep,
Okay.
that makes sense. Love it.
That sounds cooler than knowing a language just so you can yell, "Don't step on me."
No, I love that as well.
That was,
It's
that's,
so
that's funny.
Wilbur.
That's 100% better.
That was the
It's
funniest
so
for sure.
Wilbur.
Yeah.
And again, in no way am I trying to be like petty or anything, but I think I honestly read in the middle of that, I read the line, I still want to come up with some other, and I was like, okay, so it's in the works, got it. And I just didn't read
Okay,
it, so I
I'm off the hook.
yeah, I'm off the hook. I don't have to know this yet. So that's all right. That's bad DMing on my part. My bad. Anyways, guys, hey, welcome. We are here. We are ready to play. Lorianne, if you'd be so kind as to let us know where we left off. With the
Yeah. So, Saren, I'm going to try and be better about not going into all of the details and go over the highlights. So, Saren goes unconscious. Well, for me, I just don't like talking for that long, Joe.
Fair.
Saren goes unconscious. And Noros tried to give her the potion that Zaris gave us for Guar. And the potion does not seem to work, at least on our end, because she does not wake back up and Eldrin loses a pulse, which is very scary. While all this is going on, everyone in the Mongoose crew are doing different things, trying to figure out how to get out of this place. Milo respectfully, there's a note of that in there, checks the Marid's body. And basically the biggest thing he found was an amulet on the Marid that unlocks the Find a Dean quest. And then Wilbur, while like freaking out, trying to figure out what was going on, ends up breaking the thing that the collar that he wears so that he can breathe underwater, but turns out that he can breathe underwater just fine. And then Guar asked Wilbur to try to find where Saren is, because he realizes that Saren is no longer on this plane of existence, because he sees Tal's presence leave her eyes for a moment. And so Wilbur tries to see through Saren's eyes and also goes unconscious. And then we had a little bit of explanation of like Saren basically waking up in a room and then making a choice to go left. And what I don't think Saren quite knew. I wrote dream state, but I don't know if that makes sense because she's not technically in a dream state. But whatever. So going back to where the rest of us are all stuck, Milo is able to call Duchess to come help. So we had to wait for her for a while. And then we had some shenanigans with the bracelet of sending. So Eldrin used it to contact her dad and ask him basically to set up an emergency council meeting because they're going to find their way back, and also to send guards to escort them back from the temple, which I guess won't matter because of the next one. Milo contacted Zaris, and after a lot of back and forth and telling him that there's a Murid down here, and also figuring out that we're actually in the Rifu in Memoriam, we're in it. Zaris knew exactly where we were and was able to pop in and take out all the dead bodies and then pop back in again. And I believe he took me and Guar, and Milo decided to ride back with Duchess. And Guar tried to contact Broomhilda, but she didn't respond back. And then Saren and Wilbur are on a wild adventure in the ethereal plane. They realize they can't speak to each other. And they seem to be seeing, I don't know if we determine this, but some memories with the Leonin. And then basically it seemed like there was going to be an ambush in the middle of town. And the most important thing from that was that they were actually able to maybe influence those memories, maybe saving a kid. So we'll see what happens with that. And then it basically ended with, and I'm sorry, I don't have as much detail here, so you can tell me if you guys can fill in if there's something really important in it. But basically, Wilbur and Saren are separated. Saren is kind of just making a deal with the devil right now, Venesepa, which Wilbur realizes that it's Venesepa, but I don't think Saren knows because Wilbur hasn't told anyone any of this stuff because he keeps things close to the chest or vest.
Well,
I don't know which the phrase is.
In this case,
they can't talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was the other thing too, which was why it was so cool that they were able to maybe influence these events, because they realized that no one could hear them, no one could see them, and they could walk through people. So we ended with Saren saying that she wants to come back to her friends. And I don't know exactly what you said, Kayla. I'm sure you remember, but basically that you're going to make a deal. You want to come back, and you'll do pretty much anything to do so.
Cool. Okay. Excuse me. As we are coming back, so zooming back into what's been going on with everybody as they're separated in planes of existence in several areas. We actually have 3 different locations right now, as we did leave Milo in the hull of the Rifu and Memoriam. So I think we're going to start with Milo. Milo, as you kind of dip your head underneath and start to kind of you feel the Duchess kind of like lowers you into that spot, as you are pretty high up. I think we've determined like maybe like 80 feet up in the air. There's this kind of like cut out sort of creviced hole that you set yourself into, and you see it's an odd sight. It's in some ways there's so you can see that there is treasure that seems to be all around here, but in a very sort of like what you would imagine like a rat would collect, like a bunch of like shiny sort of odd objects that don't seem like they should be in the sea, but don't necessarily bode any sort of like monetary value that you know of. So you see like a shattered lantern that's already has like barnacles sort of encrusted all over it. You see there is a what looks to be like a small jewelry box that isn't that's like looks to be like adorned with like painted like gold sort of thing, but you can tell from the chipping away of that it's not real. So a lot of things like that, just like little small pieces, things that you assume might be found on wreckages. Why does that word sound weird?
No,
Wreckage?
that's right.
Wreckages.
Rex.
Rex. And you don't see any. You don't see any like place for like sleeping. You don't even see like any place for anything that would otherwise represent a home, except for a desk that looks to be somewhat clear. So you can see that there is clean, I guess a better way to put it. You see there is looks to be like a small wooden desk that again looks like it may have belonged to a ship at some point. Probably about the size of this desk, so maybe like 4 by 3 feet in length. Completely clear, besides the jewelry box that you see. And I'd say you see a couple of like stone sort of tablets that are kind of stacked on top of each other on the right side.
Wow, Duchess, look at this stuff. Isn't it neat?
You see the eyeball kind of just go in, like turn around the corner and just give like a quick once over, and look at you, and then just pull out.
And then Milo's going to walk over to the desk and look at the tablets. See what's written on, if he can read anything that's written on them.
Looking at the tablets themselves, it doesn't look like there's anything. It doesn't look. Roll me a. Let's see. Oh yeah, roll me a history check.
Also, I finished my description while we were setting up.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
It was an 18.
18, cool. We now have a +4 in our history department, gang, over by Milo. Desperately needed, by the way, so thank you for that. Cool. With an 18, you can't. You know that it's in a language that you don't understand. You see, like, kind of like hard runic sort of markings that do seem to represent. I will say with an 18, they do seem to be similar to what you would see on a lot of the writings you've seen in Honoria. So it's safe to assume that this is most likely some sort of form of primordial.
He also has the amulet that has primordial on the back of it right now.
Right. Yeah, so you can check that and you can see it's actually that's a really good point. Thank you so much for bringing that up. With an 18, you notice that it is similar to the writing that you see on the back of the amulet, and I'm sure I have it down here. Maybe I don't. Do you remember what I told you the back of the amulet says?
It says, "Upon my death, to find a deem."
There you go.
Death, find a deem. Cool. You see the, I believe, Eldrin, you just said it out loud, right? Most likely.
Yeah, and Noros, because of what I rolled, Noros knew exactly who that was talking about, and that it was the person that Glorian raised. And we said that to everyone.
Awesome. So you see, like, assuming that primordial works as the last word being the last marking you see, you actually see that marking on this tablet. Along with that, a dolphin comes into the area and just starts making a bunch of ruckus, and then you hear Duchess kind of start to push him off.
Duchess eats it.
Duchess just straight up eats the dolphin. Just a scream in the background.
Atta girl.
Yeah.
Okay, so it says Milo can assume it says Adim.
It does say Adim on it, and you also see that there are like some sort of like hieroglyphic like markings. With an 18, you see that under the word that must mean Adim, you see a depiction of. It's tricky to make out, but it looks to be a child that is wrapped in like swaddling.
Milo's not going to take these, but he is going to want to get this translated. So he's gonna. This water is really bringing me down because I can't just break out paper. Yeah, he's gonna break out a. Damn.
Are you wearing a turban?
I am.
No,
I'm not.
Oh, okay.
Well, the thing is, so my brain is just telling me to do like an impression, but I don't know how to do that here.
Is there like clay or something on the ground, I guess the sand, it wouldn't be. I don't know. Never mind.
You'd have to have some sort of like skin, I think.
Yeah.
To be able to kind of make that impression.
He skins his arm.
Water. Like an animal.
Yeah. Well, I'm not. Okay, Milo's assuming this was the Murid's office, for lack of a better, his hoard. So he is going to he's gonna take these tablets, put them in his satchel. While looking
They're
around,
extremely heavy. So I'm going to tell
you're
you,
extremely heavy.
Probably,
come on.
Wow. So you can put them in Duchess. I'm just making it very clear. Like it would be difficult to swim with these.
Okay. Yeah. I'll move that. I'll move them over to Duchess's skull shell.
Okay.
And while looking around and seeing the treasure that is here, Milo's going to while rummaging in his satchel to look for a way to do this with it. He sees a piece of like shiny, like silvery thread, and he finds a spool of silvery thread with a needle in it, and he lays it on the desk, kind of as a payment, as a like adding to the hoard.
Interesting. I'm gonna roll a perception check. Okay. Is there anything that you think? Let's do this. Roll me an investigation check, even if you're not planning on taking anything from here. Let's say this.
Investigation is 19.
Okay. Roll me a d4, please.
Yeah, it's the pointy one, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was a 4.
Okay. You see the fish, the skeleton of what looks to be a large, I don't know the names of fishes, but looks to be a large, like kind of like long fish. Like you assume one of those with like the long snout sort of thing.
An oarfish.
Sure. Yeah. Let me see if that's what I was thinking of in my head. Not quite like that. Not like an eel. Like a.
Do you know that because of Animal Crossing?
No, you know that because
is a paraffin
seal.
or is that a bird?
Paraffin's a type of wax.
Yeah.
Coelacanth?
Coelacanth? Oh, like the super old fish?
Yeah.
No, it'd be so it's longer than that. So it's just like it's one of those like long sort of like almost like duck-billed sort of fishes.
Oh, a longfish.
Yeah, longfish. That's the one. Yeah. Man, I mean, why am I getting lost in this? Okay, anyways, you see a skeleton of a longfish.
Yeah.
And what's odd about it is that you see it kind of twinkling a little bit more than any sort of like any like just bone material should be. And upon closer inspection, you see that it is not bone. It's some sort of metal. And you can see it. It's hard to tell in the darkness that's covered by just a bunch of blue. Like everything kind of just has that blue tinge here. But this especially seems to have like an aquamarine sort of teal sort of look to the metal. Of everything in here, this looks equally odd to be here, but for some reason it seems to be more interesting to you than anything else.
Yeah, Milo's gonna go up and touch it cautiously because he's touched things in this reef before and has had experiences.
I'd like you to roll me a dexterity saving throw as you reach out to touch it.
28.
28. Okay, cool. As you reach out to touch it, you're surprised by how light it is, and you go to pick it up, and you actually feel a part of the tail end of this sort of skeleton sort of thing actually just breaks in your hand. And as you see it kind of sink down to the ground, all of a sudden you see this very odd thing that you're in the reef, right? So every step you take has this like kind of like sharp, almost like painful sort of thing, as you have to be careful with each step of where you are, even if you're just like swimming up. It's odd, right? So as the kind of like abdomen, we'll say, of the skeleton falls down onto the coral, you see the coral actually just move up to like attach itself to it. You see it kind of like envelop around and start to kind of crawl up and start to become part of this skeleton. As soon as you see it start to kind of like, you see a vein of it actually start to pull away and snap to the end of it, so that there is some coral that is covering this these like the rib cage, all the way up to the rib cage of this fish, but it is not connected to the reef anymore.
Milo's going to Milo's gonna then like kind of lift it up and feel like it's a weird thing. He's gonna lift it up and like hold it.
Okay. As you hold it, you notice that like it feels like the area that it actually is covered feels rather strong, and it feels very light. Now, granted, you're underwater, so there's a lot of things that felt really light, but it feels unnaturally light for any metal. It's also tall. I'd say it's probably maybe 4 feet tall.
Oh, okay. Milo's going to kind of spin it around, kind of like you would his quarterstaff a little bit, like just kind of feel the balance, see how it feels in his hands.
Cool, awesome. As soon as you spin it around, you see the coral seem to react with your movements, and the coral itself starts to move up further and further along to the tip part of it, and it begins to form more like a staff. As the bones themselves seem to kind of like almost crush into one spot.
Yeah. Milo, so every time I pick up Jamie, every time Jamie picks up a bass, I play the bass line for One Way Jesus, the first bass line I ever learned how to play. And so Milo, I imagine Milo has a very similar ritual every time he picks up a new like stick-like object. He runs through a similar like simple but like quicker pace when he plays with it. So he's gonna run through that a little bit.
Okay. I want to say roll me an investigation check.
Uh, 18.
It feels different than your staff. It's not familiar. It's not, there's nothing about this that feels like, oh, this is a perfect replacement. This feels like something different, but for some reason, I think, and you can, as a character choice too, you can kind of decide if like you've had a connection to this reef already. I think there's most likely a part of Milo that thinks, no matter what, I'm taking this. This is a part of the reef. This is a part of like, I've had this experience here. I don't know what I could use this for. Maybe it's not my new staff. I don't know. But I'd say with an 18, it feels like if it's going to be your staff, it would take some getting used to.
Okay. Yeah, Milo. I mean, he is like, he's sentimental. So yeah, he wants to remember. He wants something to remember this space by. And I mean, he left both emotionally and physically with like the thread. He wanted to leave a mark on this place. So I think in treating it as kind of a transaction, as a relationship with this space. Yeah, he definitely is like, he knows, he kind of knows how to attune to things now and get used to new attributes of new toys, you know. So I think he's gonna kind of tuck it into his belt and see how it looks, or at least feels.
How tall are you?
3'8".
It's taller than you.
Mm-hmm.
So you tell me how it would feel to tuck something that's taller than you under your belt.
Yeah, it feels silly.
Every like step, you're like almost hitting yourself in the head with it.
Just bonking, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. So Milo's going, as he's holding it, he's gonna kind of, or as he's like holstering it a little bit, he's gonna kind of like, man, I wish this was smaller. I wish this was. He's gonna think about breaking it to like trim it down to size, but that feels disrespectful, so he doesn't necessarily want to do that. But he's gonna. He's gonna ask the reef. He's gonna ask the reef. Ask the staff if it can be a foot shorter, for him, knowing that the reef has kind of had some agency in dealing with him already.
I think taking a moment to like look around
Mm-hmm.
and just make sure that no one else is hearing you talking to
A stick.
a stick. You say those words to it and you wait 10 seconds, 20 seconds, nothing. I think you do notice that there's some of the like coral that has kind of grown up this the side of this stick, essentially, at this point. Does seem to be alive in a coral sense. But it doesn't seem like it can respond to you the way that you want it to.
Yeah. Does it seem? I mean, Milo's not that discerning when it comes to coral, but does it seem just like normal coral then?
It seems like normal coral that has connected itself to something that is so small that it's weird that it's able to stay alive on it. I think with your newfound historical knowledge. I think that in and of itself tells you that there's something that is special here. I think there's just, I think for sure this is not just like, this is just this is what coral normally does. Like, that's definitely not what's happening here. There's something special that's happening here. It just doesn't seem to be responding to you.
Yeah, Milo's gonna take it with him back to Duchess, and his plan is to just kind of sit with it and kind of listen to it as he rides back with Duchess. On his way out, he's going to intentionally like place his hand on the wall of the reef one more time to try and commune again.
Okay. interesting. There is a weird loop that you feel happen. And I feel like as in the improv of this, I'm giving you a hard no, which is never a good thing. But
Yeah.
you're as you are like trying to give it a memory, right? As doing that sort of stuff, the memory is being sent back to you the same way it's being given. So as you like even start to like try something new, it comes back to you that way. I don't think you feel like it's like I don't think you feel like it's like mad at you or like or anything like that. It just seems like in this moment there is nothing to say.
Okay.
There's no memory that would be that it seems like you need to know right now.
Okay.
I rolled a 3.
Yeah. Can you remind me what the Marid's name was?
Yes, I can. The Marid's name is Ashar Anas.
Ashar Anas. Milo, while he's touching the wall and like realizes this isn't like that's not what's that's not what's going to happen here. Is going to say, "I'm sorry and thank you, Ashar Anas."
Okay.
And scramble up Duchess and head on out of there.
Cool. As you scramble up, Duchess, you walk out of the hole of this thing. I'd like you to give me a perception check with advantage because you were specifically focusing on like trying to focus on the staff in this. So.
Hey, nat 20, 26.
Cool.
I'm rolling like crazy right now.
Yeah, you are. I love that. Cool. So a couple things. You look past. I'm going to tell you this because I also think that I know what Milo would do in this situation, and I think this also like this makes sense. Milo, you look, you walk, you kind of like push yourself out of this hole, so you're kind of just swimming in like nothing for a second, and you notice two things. The first thing you notice is that as you swim out, you have this thing connected to you in some way, or you're holding on to it, whatever. As you see the staff itself moving through the water with you in a quick motion, whether you're like using with your arm or whatever, you notice that it seems to be gliding in the water. I'm trying to think of how to explain this in a directional type pattern. So like if you think about like how a staff would be like almost completely circular, so it doesn't really like you wouldn't feel like if you were to move it, you know, forward, back, left, right, diagonal, it would feel the same amount of resistance. You notice that the resistance is directional. And you look down and you see that there's actually there almost seems to be like the water moving around it seems to move in a pattern that would be fit more. You rolled a nat 20, so I'm going to tell you. The water's moving around it that would be fit more a blade than a circular staff. So that's the first thing you notice. You recognize with that means that this very much is an area of things not being as they appear. And as you look back into the cave, as you're about to head into Duchess, you notice that every little piece that you saw, the random lamp, the jewelry box, the little like knick-knack shiny objects that didn't seem to be of any value, you look back at them and for a second it flashes and you can see the entire room is filled with gold. Treasure all around. Each little piece that looked like junk is actually something extremely valuable. Do you choose to go back in, or do you choose to leave it there?
No, I think Milo's gotten. I think Milo has a reverence for this place.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's gotten everything he wants to.
Cool. I think that's exactly the answer I thought you would say. So upon realizing that you've seen this and still continuing to move forward, whether or not Milo notices this or not, as you kind of crawl back into Duchess, I'd say the camera notices that the coral itself starts to kind of collect around that hole and close it up.
Mm.
And you get in Duchess, and Duchess starts to make her way up the reef. And we're going to pause you there. Very beautiful. Thank you. And you did get something really cool. Awesome. All right. So coming back to the rest of the party, I would say, which is really just Lorian and Mike. So Guar and Eldrin. You touch down onto. I'm trying to think where he would have brought you. I would say he probably brought you right outside the palace gates. So you were like touched down right where the big kind of open sort of area of the field is. You see, I think is it Jairus or Jaren?
Generous.
Generous, yes. You see Generous like kind of like has already has like armor and everything on, like runs up to like pushes whoever out of the way and like runs up to you and is like, "Are you okay?" Like it's like checking you, everything.
Eldrin's leaning heavily on Noros because she has like 10 hit points and is just covered in blood, and says, "We don't have time for this. We need to go inside now, and I need to speak with my father."
What? Master Orgamath, is she dead?
For the time being, yes.
I see. And then sees Catherine.
Well, so basically he brought the dead bodies here, left them, and then came back and got us, and then brought us back here, right? Yeah. That's so I was where did he bring the bodies?
I would say I would say he probably brought them to the same source, and it just like happened within like seconds of each other. For the sake of this, Generous looks at Catherine, and I'd like you to give me an insight check.
Yeah. That would be I rolled a 3, but I got an 8 to 11.
Okay. You have guidance, right?
Yeah.
I would.
Do you want me to guide myself?
Here. Yeah.
Right.
Let's see.
So 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
15. Okay, that's a big difference. You think back to, I don't know why in this moment. I think it's because you're kind of going in and out, and you're like, things that are important are drifting in and out as far as trying to understand where you even are right now. And you think back to the moment that Generous said to you, it might be a good idea to go see the High Priestess Orgamath way, way back when you were trying to decide what you wanted to do with your life.
Mm-hmm.
And when you see him look at Catherine, you notice there's something there. He seems devastated by seeing Catherine unconscious, dead.
Okay. I file that away. I'm going to, I
he doesn't do a good job of hiding it. He picks up Catherine and immediately starts running inside. Fully ignores whatever you yell at him afterwards.
Yeah. I grab Wilbur because I can carry Wilbur, and then Noros and Guar can grab the other two. Or I'm sure Guar gets Theron, so Noros can get the High Priestess.
Okay. Yeah, Noros picks up Master Erlin, and you all run inside. A handful of guards start to I think Noros starts to pick up Master Erlin, and then a handful of guards start to try to help him. And there's clearly enough people. You see that there was a full-on battalion that was in front of this area ready to go.
Okay.
So they are all now looking awkwardly around, trying to figure out what to do. If there's someplace they needed to be. Just remember who Generous is. So Generous is just part of the Royal Guard. Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
Astelin is the
currently. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
So you hear Astelin just shout for the rest of the soldiers to remain at attention until further orders. And you see them stop and stay there as you all.
At that, I say, I look at Aston and I say, "Can you send some to gather a few clerics from the temple? We're going to need everyone who can help."
Roll me a persuasion check with advantage.
Can I guide myself?
Sure.
10.
Cool. Awesome. She gives you kind of a stern look and commands one of the guards to go and try find one of the clerics, as that is not her place to do.
Does she seem like she's hesitating to do what I asked her, or how does it go?
It's kind of one of those things where it's you're asking. I think you're asking a pilot to navigate a ship. You're telling her to go and try to find someone that she has zero information on. She's the commander of the guard.
Yeah. Because if I see any hesitation, or I'm going to say to her, "The High Priestess is dead. I know this is beneath what you normally do, but send whoever you need to. That's an order." And I just walk by her. Well, I limp by her.
Guar walks past behind her and goes, "Yeah!"
Okay. She stands her post. As you walk away, you do see the guard go.
Mm-hmm. Well, she's needed here anyway, because my father should have called a council meeting. So
I think that's what you pick up on.
Yeah.
There was an order from the king to stay here until further orders from the king.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, I don't think you. I mean, it's up to you. It's up to a character choice of what you think. The possible insubordination here is more of a confusion of orders.
Yeah.
Than anything.
And that's fine. And yeah, Eldrin said what she wanted to say. She's good.
Yeah. Cool. And you guys rush in. You do see the guard is running full armor off as you hurry into the place. As you hurry into the building, and we've kind of given this not really a lot of forethought, but there are also people of the court here. So there are higher ups that come here and are in charge of little things here and there. It is a very military run sort of structure, but there are also people here that are very much and I just take care of the bits and baubles around there's those people that are here as well.
I want so bad, if there are any of those people in my way, Eldrin definitely just bumps into them, and probably gets blood on them to go past them if they're in my way.
You hear a couple oh just random, princess, I'm so lucky, as you get blood on them.
Disgusting.
Where do you go?
I go to the so when I messaged him, I said to call a council meeting, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned the Ixochitl. But I'm going to go into the room. It's not like the normal council room that we established. It was like, but he had it in there because of the Ixochitl and how big they are. So I'm going in there and bringing these bodies in there. And I want to put them all down and then look for my father.
Into the big council chamber, is that what you said?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. You got it. So like the courtroom, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. You got it.
Where
yeah,
the meeting was
there.
this morning.
Yeah. Awkwardly, by the way. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Remember, it was weirdly big for that area. Yeah.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
You kind of tumble in there, and you all are like busted up. You have two dead bodies that you're.
Nora's looks fine, actually.
Noros looks weary, at least.
There we go. Yeah. Now he's just smiling. He's having a good time.
I think one thing that Noros says in this point goes, where's Zaris? And you look around, you don't see Zaris.
Yeah, Eldrin's like, I didn't even realize he was gone. Where is he? Yeah, I mean, there's nothing Eldrin can really do at the moment. So she's like, kind of like, I think she like motions to Guar and Nora to just like, if there's anything on the table, like get it off and like put these bodies down and, you know.
Yep. I think because there's always one small table on the side that has the seashells and everything. You knock them off the table and they scatter to the ground as you put the bodies on there. And you see them roll away, ironically, super far. Just a point of order. What did we do with the Marid's body?
Zaris had it.
Did you leave it?
Nope.
Zaris had it. Okay.
Yeah, Zaris brought it. So I don't know if he put it in a different place than the other bodies.
Yeah, you did not see it when you arrived.
Yeah. And so, yeah, Eldrin will put those bodies. We'll put those bodies down, and then, without even giving them a second thought, Eldrin, or it seems like it, Eldrin goes straight to like one of the center tables and unfolds the map that Milo gave them of where all the bombs are, because that's where her focus is right now.
Gotcha. Okay. Awesome. Do you like call one of the guards over? So far, like there's no, your father's not there yet. Like no one else.
Yeah, I call one of the guards over and I say, I need my father now. We need an emergency council meeting.
Yes, ma'am. And then runs off. Guar, what's going on with you?
I mean, Guar's been in the support role for a while. I think Guar's just trying to do the right thing.
He's mopping my brow.
Yeah, just like, but I think that he would be letting Eldrin just do her thing. He knows when someone is in power is doing their thing, and she's crushing it right now. So he's just trying to lay down some support, literally laying down the bodies put the bodies on the floor. I mean, the table. Let the bodies at the table just doesn't have the same ring to it.
Especially in the water, they just fall down slowly too.
I would also imagine that Guar would be looking at this map to try to see if he could, think of anything in terms of strategy, see any patterns, see any anything tactical that he could help with. He is a tactician commander after all. So,
I think you do recognize that. That's a good point. I'll say, just to kind of like bring that back a little bit, I think you recognize the point of order of the princess telling anyone to do whatever. The issue is that there seems to have been like a confusion of orders within that point. So you probably could have, if that was like further confusing, you would absolutely know that, Guar.
Yeah.
As a military person, there's like, yeah. Okay.
Do you mean like patterns on the map, Mike, of like where the bombs are?
I mean, like to see if there's any sort of strategy that, if I can see what the enemy's trying to do. Does that make sense? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
So,
that's a good
like,
question.
you know, are
And if
they
it-
like, are they centers where a lot of people are? Is it like, you know, things like that?
And if it helps, we already established that a lot of them are under the palace itself. So
Gotcha.
Correct.
But is
yeah,
it
so
under the
that's-
armory? Is it under like the bed where people sleep?
or the
Is it
prison,
under-
the prison, like the
Yeah, right. Or where
Yeah.
the
exactly
children
where
are.
where my dead brother is right now. And
Yeah.
Do you? I would like you to roll me an investigation check with advantage.
Okay.
And I would also, I'm going to see. I would also like you to add your proficiency modifier in that if you have.
Okay.
Yes, so that's a plus.
So you said investigation,
Yes.
and that is a 12.
With your proficiency modifier.
Yeah, I rolled really bad.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. So here's what I will tell you with that.
Okay.
You see that there are a number of these bombs that are located under the castle. You're not entirely sure where, based on the blueprints. It does look like the castle would be the first place to go down. But you also notice that this area is so expansed and wide. Like, to kind of put it in an idea of, like, let's say that this is the entire map of everything that's going on. The capital, where the castle is like right there. So there are bombs literally around to bring the entire land of Honoria down.
How did they have time to do all of this and no one saw anything?
they could have been doing
Think
it for
about it.
years, for all we know.
Could have been doing it for years. No one knew that there was a race of Exisachitl underneath.
To get these
I
people
turned to
sleep?
Guar because it's just us in here and Noros. Is Generous in here? Did he put Catherine's body down?
Nope.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
He ran off. I would say he ran off the same way where the guards ran.
is Catherine's body in here?
No.
Oh, okay. I turn to Guar and Norov and I say, we're going to minimize Erlin's impact on all this. We're not going to tell the whole truth.
What are we gonna say?
I don't know. We can just leave it with it. She was trying to stop something. She was trying to stop it and was slain by an Ixochitl. The council does not need to know the extent of her involvement.
Treason?
She had her reasons. And it will do no one any good if we bring her back and then put her in chains.
Not until we understand her intentions, at least.
Yes.
I
All right.
want to be very clear on this as a DM, in the understanding, and the reason why I'm mentioning this is because I also think that Elgin would definitely know this.
Mhm.
For a crime that is this high level, someone needs to take the fall. So
Yeah.
if Erlin is not taking the fall, most likely the Exisachitl will.
Well, that's fine. It's their fault. In Eldrin's mind. It's the Ixochitl and the Merid and Tal. So she's thinking that she can explain, like, the Ixochitl were manipulated.
We were manipulated.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what Eldrin says. This was a horrible situation, and poor decisions were made. But in the end, if we can come to an agreement with the Ixochitl and get these bombs removed and defused, I think that is our best option.
We have conquered their god.
That is what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid that they're going to, out of fear, try to bring Honoria down.
We conquered their god, therefore we are their god until we free them of worshiping us, because that's just weird.
Well,
At this, excuse me, the door, the door at the back side of the courtroom, I rolled a nat 20, completely gets obliterated off of its hinges as your dad comes fully like tactile swimming in like a bullet.
Okay.
There is no more door. As he comes in,
Okay.
kind of like grabs you in a full hug and said, "What happened?" And we're gonna pause you there.
Okay.
What a funny place to roll nat 20. Cool.
Ooh, Kayla.
Oh, I gotta fix this. 1 second. Let's try that again. Let me know if that's ever too loud or not enough. Wilbur, just because I want to make sure that you have enough time to be able to react in how you would like, as we were kind of like putting this as kind of an end sort of thing, you do see the door open. You see a figure far off, huddled over what looks to be like essentially like a pulpit in a way, but there's like a high chair that you can't tell whether this figure is sitting on it or not, but it is there, and you can see that the entirety of this pulpit and this chair seems to be connected, in almost like like I kind of imagine like a very like black sort of tin like look as it like kind of spirals into itself. Obviously, Saren, you see this too, but I want to give Wilbur a chance to react in any way they see fit upon seeing the side profile of Venesepa at first.
So Wilbur has not actually seen Venesepa before, but like would understand that this is Venesepa. That's what we clarified, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Venesepa was the figure that was on a throne above all the primordial beings talking.
That's right. I think Wilbur, with like a heaviness in his voice, would yell out, "Venesepa, what business do you have with her?" Just to see if Venesepa would react.
I'd like you to roll me an insight check.
Mm-hmm. You said insight.
Mm-hmm.
14.
You see the pale skull lift a skeletal hand off of the quill for a second in recognition of hearing something, and then going right back to their work. And you said a 14?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You get the feeling that Venesepa definitely heard you, but didn't respond, I think, because you feel like in this moment, based on who you are and what you are in this world, which is a whisper, you're not really here. You're not worth the response.
That's rude.
Saren, I think based on your off the charts perception, you do hear Wilbur kind of like in this big like woo sort of thing towards this figure.
As soon as she hears that, she turns around and looks at Wilbur, just like with a, what the fuck is happening? And she doesn't really know what else to do. And she just, I'm sorry, and like mouths sorry, and like turns around and starts walking.
You can read on the mouth that says, "I'm sorry," as Saren goes in. And the door
Towards
shuts
Saren.
behind.
And I'll just get the door shut in my face.
Okay. Saren. Between you and Venesepa, who it's very difficult to see it's very difficult to explain the distance because it kind of looks like a figure that is, I mean, I think you could guess the length, like this is weird. All you see is pitch blackness around Venesepa. So either Venesepa is a ways away and you're not really sure how far away, or Venesepa is like this big. Do you get what I'm saying? It's really hard to tell distance in this space because it is just emptiness. You
After-
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say you see this figure just scrawling on a desk. You can see like the sort of smoky effect around, but based on the contortion this body has, you get the feeling that there is a very much like a hunchback sort of like representation here with these very long limbs that are the feet themselves are like touching on the high chair of this that go all the way down to the ground. And I assume you start to walk forward.
Mm-hmm.
As you walk forward, you notice the figure is not getting bigger immediately. Saren, I would like a survival check.
$18.
Okay. Yes, Mike, you're very talented. As you move forward, each step, and 18 is pretty high. So as you move forward with each step, you recognize that you are out of your element, that you have no idea what works here. You're not sure if you can see weapons on your body. You're not sure if they're really there or not. You're not sure if you can pick them up and use them. You're not even sure if this creature would be affected by them at all. With an 18, with that being so high, every part of your body is screaming at you to leave this room. The sense of danger is at a max. Do you continue forward?
No, she's actually like, she's gonna stop and just say, I thought you wanted to talk to me. You're gonna help me get out of this place. What do you want? I'm not getting any closer. You're gonna say something?
The figure looks at you, seemingly still a good distance away. How many steps do you think you took?
However many steps it take to get like, let's say like 60 feet from where she thought the door was.
Okay, cool. Within 60 feet, you do notice that the figure is getting bigger. So you are gaining ground. It's just a lot further than you thought it would be. So I'd say the figure has kind of come to like, I'd say probably about half the size of what you would assume to be like a human size. Still a little blurry, so it still feels distant, right? It doesn't really feel like now knowing like, okay, this figure's not this big and like there's some way to go here. You do see the figure look up towards you, and looking is a weird word here because it does not have eyes. It is just a skull that is encased in black smoke that seems to have, you've noticed arms and you've noticed legs, and that's it. You've seen the form of it like seeming to be hunched over based on the neck, bones, and those types of things. So you say, tell me again what you said. I'm trying to think of how to.
Basically, like, I'm trying to, get over there. I'm not getting any closer. Like, you wanted to talk to me. Then, like, come out and talk to me.
Okay.
Meanwhile, she's shitting her pants.
Mm-hmm. Fair.
She's trying to be cool. It's not probably working.
You see the figure put the quill seemingly down. You see just kind of really extend the hand out based on where you are. Turns and looks at you with empty eye sockets. And you can see there is on where the markings of the jaw is, there is a very faint veil over the mouth. And you hear a voice in your head that says,
I have nothing but time. Come to me when you wish.
Holy shit. She stands there for a second and it just slowly starts kind of inching forward.
I think Mike left.
Okay, I can do that too. Yeah, actually, she just leaves. Bye.
You guys can still hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just making sure that part worked. As you start to move forward, you see this figure get bigger and bigger, and now judging from distance of like recognizing like definitive lines and things like that, like I kind of just figure like Saren is elven. Saren definitely has like perfect eyesight, like 20/20 vision. You recognize that you are still not all the way to Venesepa based on the blurriness of what you're seeing. as you're walking towards them, I'd say there's a certain point where you hear Venesepa.
Almost there. Come closer.
Assuming you continue, you start to recognize that Venesepa is much bigger than you first realized. I'd say you move about another 120 feet or so when you see that Venesepa is at least 20 feet tall. You recognize that as you get closer, the image that you're seeing, you are having to look up higher and higher and higher each time. At a certain point, I think there's a part of you that stops because you recognize that any step closer would mean that Venesepa would be looking directly down at you. As he is kind of still looking downward at you, he takes his quill out and still looks like he is kind of goes back to writing. He doesn't look like he's writing. He doesn't look like he's looking at what he's writing. He's actually looking at you.
I have use for you. I hear you would like to make a deal.
If that's what it takes to get out of this place safely with me and my friend Wilver back there, then yeah, let's make a deal.
That's a better background. We'll use that. As you get closer, you see that the veil itself looks to be like see-through. You can see a jaw that is moving up and down.
You guys have to stop making me laugh in the comments.
To ask for a life return is a very big thing. To ask for two.
And his voice just kind of trails off.
Well, I don't know what I have to offer, but what is it going to take?
There is a life that is much sweeter than the both of you. Perhaps you could bring me his in exchange. I'll let you visit.
Whose life? And visit? What do you mean visit?
Hey guys, can we pause on the comments? It's not helping the scene at all. I know you guys are nervous, I get it, but just allow this to happen. So I think of this, he does turn back to the page that he's writing on.
This being goes by many names. He is being hunted by many. One of which you travel with. And motions towards the door. That, by the way, you look back and don't see.
Sorry. Motions towards the door. Sorry. Motions towards the door that, by the way, you look back and don't see.
So tall, right? You want tall.
You see the quill continuing to kind of move above the desk, but you see his head turn towards you and get down to your level. So you see it start to kind of extend down to you, and at this point you can see the skull itself is about the size of your body, as it leans down very close. And at this point you can smell this this deep sort of gut-wrenching smell of essentially sulfur. He seems like he's inspecting you, but as you're looking at the space where his eyes are supposed to be, I'd like you to roll me a perception check.
$15.
You see smoky images appear where his eye sockets are, and you see an image of a broad-chested figure with long hair, looking like they're swinging this halberd in the air and coming straight down onto something, and it whisks away. You see a smaller figure of a bald head with a staff that is swinging for dear life, as looking to the other side, and then you see throwing punches and just doing you see your friends, and you see these images as it is clear to you that Venesepa is scanning you. Which tells you a couple things. One, Venesepa scanning you means most likely that he doesn't know everything about you, or they don't know everything about you. At least not until just now. And I guess it does tell you a lot of other things, but nothing of worthy of note of just saying here. I think the biggest thing is to recognize this being, the omnipotence of this being comes into question. But he pulls away. They pull away, excuse me.
You know the name, but you have yet to see the face.
Correct. But it seems we're after the same thing? Being, whatever he is.
No. You're looking to end him. I would like to claim him. And I need your help.
Kind of mumbles under her breath. Well, this seems like a terrible idea. What would that entail exactly?
You see most of their movements have been like very slow and gradual. With this, you see a kind of like a very quick swipe of the hand that was writing on the quill. It seemed like it underlined something.
As I said, one life. Put back. The other allowed to visit. In exchange for the one that you know.
And he hands you this. At first, looks gigantic, like it's about to cover your whole body. But as it gets closer to you, you see the hand and the page itself seems to get smaller as it gets closer to you, and it looks to be a contract.
He grabs it and looks at it. Or tries.
Yeah. Do you think this is in a language that you can understand?
Probably not. So what is this? What does this say?
It simply says that you are under my services for your services. I need collections. From time to time, I may ask you to deliver. If you wish to stay on that plane of yours, you'll need to give me something in exchange every day.
Every day? Well, I mean, I can't give you a tall every day, but you'll let me and Wilbur both go back to our plane if I sign this.
You see the head nod slowly.
So, how exactly am I supposed to give you something every day?
He lifts something off of his desk. And you recognize it must be an ink blot as he takes the quill out. And you see it dripping down. Venesepa hands you the quill. But then points to the ink blot that is also it is like in their other hand because you're holding the contract.
I need ink for my pen.
Go ahead and roll an insight check on that.
A nat 20, which is
Okay.
30.
Jesus Christ. When you saw the dripping ink, this is a very scary place with sounds that have a lot with a lot of sounds that are hard to kind of like understand. But each drip, at some point you heard crying. And then another drip and you hear screams. Another drip, you hear the sound of bones breaking. With a nat 20, you recognize that what is in the ink blot, what is in the actual quill that you're about to sign with, must be the souls of the dead. And as he's pointing to the ink blot, he's asking for ink. And I think with a nat 20, you get the idea that you are giving souls.
So, along with sending Wilbur and myself back to our plane safely, may I add once again, are you going to do anything to aid in us finding your precious, precious Tall?
A servant of death will be given many gifts to help in their service.
Well, I will be looking forward to receiving those. Fine. And then I even have a thing.
Nice.
This is just randomly on my desk too. It's amazing. So she.
I will say, as we just the one quick thing, I want to give you just the option. You certainly don't have to, but as we said at the beginning of this session, if there's anything else you want to ask Venesepa for, you can. It's up to you.
Well, this may fall under those gifts, but someone very dear to me is, I think, being controlled by Tall right now, and that could lead us to finding him. Is there any way you can point me towards him?
Interesting question. So, to be clear, you're asking for the location of Raylor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And she may also add on to that the fact that he, like, since he is being controlled by Tall, you could have Tall, but Tall has to release him from his control first. Release Raylor from his control. Pretend I said that cooler.
You said it fine.
I can control the spirits. I cannot control the mind. That being said, I will send friends to point you along the way. You will be with your loved ones soon. I promise.
Can she do a perception check on that?
You can do an insight check.
Or insight check?
Mm-hmm.
28.
Upon your walking into this room, he very much, Venesepa said that they very much would, they have nothing but time.
Mm-hmm.
So concepts of words like soon, there's no variable to that. So soon means sometime. But I do think you get the idea that I think a couple things. Would you roll a 28?
Yeah.
Okay. You Venesepa didn't ask for anything in return for that. I'd say with a 28 insight, that means that most likely Venesepa also wants you to find Raylor. Otherwise, I mean, everything has been an exchange. This has not been. Now, this could be, Venesepa did tell you that there would be many gifts that they would give you. This could have just been one of those gifts. It's hard to tell. But I think you think for sure that it is odd that Venesepa is giving this gift willingly.
So, what do you want in return? What are you gonna take? You don't seem the kind to just give that information freely.
I rolled a nat 1.
Call it a bargaining chip. Or maybe a token of good faith. And you hear this
very weird laughter that kind of like fills this catacomb-like area.
And that just like freaks the hell out of her, and she's just kind of done with the situation and just fine, and reaches out and gets the souls and signs her name on the thing.
Okay. You've been rolling pretty high on the insight stuff on this. As soon as you are done signing, you look up and you see the veil along the mouth is not there anymore. I'm going to pause you there, but it's going to be clear when you're coming back. Very cool, Kayla. Nice work.
I'm a Grim Reaper now.
So, on our return back to the underwater, I don't know why there's no sound.
Guys, last time I used that pen was when Eldrin died in the jail. I'm afraid.
No.
No. I don't know why that's not being...
I also have ink all over my hands now.
Kayla, if you kill one of us, I swear to God.
Do you have to kill someone every day? We can talk about this after. I'm confused.
I don't know this part. I do have a note on my desk that says save Wilbur, so I made sure to mention Wilbur in the deal.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this. This is what happens immediately. So you're embracing your father.
I wince when he embraces me.
Yep.
Because I'm very hurt.
You hear a very sharp gasp from the table as Wilbur all of a sudden comes alive.
Okay.
Wilbur, do you say anything when you...
I don't. I'm trying to think of what.
You've seen a lot. You've seen Saren close the door to have a conversation with an entity that you recognize as some sort of version of evil and a big question mark.
I think Wilbur would like sit straight up and say, "Saren's about to make a deal with the devil, and I couldn't do anything to stop her."
God damn it!
I'm sorry, what? Is that you were with a demon
What?
or a devil or...
Okay, one thing at a time. Because if we don't figure, I point to the bomb map. I say, if we don't figure this out first, then we're all going to be dead, and then none of this is going to matter.
This has to do with this kind of.
Okay. All right. Tell me.
I explained to I explained to him that like we went down in the temple. We found
Wilbur, you hop down off the table as your coming back to life seems to bode no response from your party.
To be clear, Guar is very excited Wilbur's back because that was his idea. So
Eldrin's very happy, but she is a one track.
yeah.
mind.
But I'm
Sure.
showing that I'm excited that Wilbur's back. So I'm gonna hug.
Okay.
I'm full on hugging Wilbur. Like, I'm so glad you're back. You know.
And in Eldrin's mind, she's like, if I don't get this figured out now, he's going to be dead for real. So
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
there's like the
yeah.
the reverence of like understanding that. Well, actually, that's not fair because I don't think Eldrin knows of Wilbur's deal. Like as far as the idea of like if Wilbur dies, that's it.
no, he told me.
Oh, okay,
No,
cool.
she
All right.
knows.
But I also didn't. So we never established. I know that Saren lost the pulse. We never established if Wilbur did too. I thought part of me was just like he's just unconscious.
Wilbur did not have a pulse.
Okay, all right.
Oh, we didn't know that. Okay.
Eldrin is highly compartmentalizing things right now.
Cyrus said that does make sense. I was
Yeah.
Okay.
So real quick, Guar is just like it's like Grog hugging Pike, just like
Buddy.
yes, yeah, best buddy. But just really happy that he's back. Not crushing because he did just come back to life, but but yeah, just being like Eldrin's busy. She'll hug you, I promise. So.
Yeah, I think the only thing that shows that I'm slightly cracking a little is as I'm pointing to the map and showing him things, there's a slight shake to my hand, probably. So I basically, we don't have to go through the whole thing, but I explain everything that happened but I downplay Erlin's role in it. I make it more seem as if she stumbled upon this and was trying to stop it tonight, not
You
like
give
that
me-
she had. I know.
Let's role play that.
Okay. All right. So I say, how do I? Yeah. So I'm like, so the Ixchitl, they had Erlin. We tried to save her, and she was trying. She was trying to figure this out into. I'm trying to think of how she would explain it. And to save Honoria, she had stumbled upon this and was doing everything that she could in this moment. But unfortunately, what was possessing the Merid that was controlling the Ixchitl killed her.
Roll
Important to
me
note, Wilbur is looking at Guar like, what the fuck is she talking about?
I love it.
I love it.
Not saying anything, just looking. But I will.
Guar just keeps hugging, and now it's like advice, man. Like, you be quiet. Quiet.
Go to sleep. Go to sleep.
Fuck up.
Yeah, I don't talk about the fact that, the reason Catherine is dead is because of the majority of damage that Erlin, I think, did to her. So
Right.
Yeah.
I will say, roll me a deception check with advantage, as your father would believe you, usually.
Uh-huh. And I'm going to guide myself.
Okay.
Can I use my inspiration to reroll?
You absolutely can.
Is it rerolling at advantage?
No.
Okay, I'm going to use a different dice this time.
Nice try.
We'll
Burn
use
that
the
one.
cat dice. Which one? So do I have to use the reroll?
No, I would allow you to use whatever roll is highest. I'd allow that.
9, 10, 11.
11. Okay. 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 So Arlen was trying to save us.
Yes.
Why would she do what she did at the council meeting?
I don't know. You'd have to ask her. Everything happened so quickly.
You brought Erlen in, right?
Yeah, she's dead in
The
here.
dead body. Yeah.
I said I say that because I'm assuming we're gonna resurrect her. So
Right. Okay. Right. All right.
did you call the council and the Ixchitl, the representative of them?
Did you ask him to do that beforehand?
I asked him to call an emergency council meeting.
When did you do that? I'm just trying to get
When we were still down there before Milo had called Zaris. I had one more sending, and I
Yeah, I was gonna say it was one of the messages. Yeah.
Cool.
yeah. So it was at least 30 minutes ago, probably at this point. And he said, "Okay."
How do you figure?
Oh, I thought we were down there for a while.
You were, but I would say in that regard of that, like you were also teleported back.
Yeah, it was one of the first things I did. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll say about 15 minutes. So he either way he'll tell you like, yes, they're most of them are on their way. They're usually takes. About
And I
10
do
minutes to
actually,
run them, so.
and I do say, I say Darius will not be joining either.
I see. Okay, we'll be missing a couple of members. I was very confused on your message. We want the representative Quetzal.
Yes.
Very good. All right. Goes to one of the guards, like tells them to take Erlen down to essentially the medic room, the area where the clerics are, and Erlen is carted down. As Erlen is carted down, excuse me. Your father looks at the body of Saren. This may be a big project for our staff to bring back 3 people.
If we wait till tomorrow, I can do it. I just need some diamonds.
Okay. Apologies for being so brash, but a dead body in the council chambers would be difficult to talk over. Is there a place you would like us to bring her in the meantime?
I think Quetzal should have to see what his actions have caused. He's not leaving my sight.
Very good. As your father's looking over the blueprint of what's going on, like, he quickly recognizes the marks of where things are and goes, I'm going to give this information to Master Astelin. Usually generous is the quicker one.
We should probably start evacuating non-essential people from the palace in case we can't get this figured out before.
Yes, yes, of course. All right.
Speaking of, I turn to like Guar and Wilbur and I say, you two should get out of here in case.
All right.
You're also bringing council members into the palace.
I know, but we have to figure it out. I don't know where else to go. Everywhere is there. It's rigged everywhere, right? Never mind. I wouldn't tell them to leave.
Yeah, I was going to say Guar wouldn't leave anyway.
Yeah, so I wouldn't tell them to leave, but I would say, like, I still think it's better to evacuate non-essential people from the palace.
Okay. Yes.
Who don't live here and stuff.
Please get the captain of the guard, Astelin, up here immediately. Thank you. Looks over it, and your father seems a little shaken up. The intensity of this map is scary.
Mm-hmm.
As you see landmarks that you know are like boundaries of an area.
Mm-hmm. I do ask him, I say, actually, I call Guar over, and I say, what's the best way to handle this? You know Quetzal better. I don't want to spook him, and then they let all of this loose. I mean, they were worshiping the Merid as if he was a god, and then we slayed him. So how do we approach this? Do you have any ideas, Guar, father?
You can just call me Guar.
I think with Guar... Oh.
I don't understand, Guar.
Like, Guar... Guar, you unfortunately are very familiar with this side of war, but also...
I was going to say, I'm more familiar with the other side of it. I'm more familiar with, like, Call taking over other things, as opposed to...
You're familiar with, like I was trying to say, like, the subterfuge of that situation.
Sure.
It is very. Roll me a history check. Again, add your proficiency, and then again advantage on this.
Okay.
While he's doing that, I do want. I do say to. I say to my father, I want to make it clear that the Ixochitl were influenced and were taken advantage of The only one to blame here is Tall.
Nat 20, so 24.
Okay. With a nat 20, you see your. One thing is, I will say, Eldrin, you see your father kind of like give you a long look and nod, and that's it.
Okay.
With a nat 20, Guar, you're aware that servants of Tall that have been brought in for questioning on like misdemeanor crimes from the beginning of that cult were given very specific instructions to not give up any information of the cult, and if they were to, or if they were designated that missing for some time, they would be hunted.
Sure.
So, at the very least, you know that any harm that would come to Quetzal in this room, if Quetzal doesn't make it back, that could bode bad.
Right. I relay that to Eldrin and the king.
And I say, do we know if they were actually part of the cult of Tall? It seemed they were part of the cult of the Merid. I mean, how long was that Merid down there? How long were they worshiping him? Maybe things have changed in the past few years because suddenly they want to come up to where we are. Why? Where's Zaris? He seemed to know this Merid. Maybe he can give us more answers.
You see council members starting to pour in. You do not see Zaris.
Also, and I remind Eldrin that we also need to go find, what was that kid's name from the tavern?
Adim.
We need to find Adim.
One thing at a time, but yes.
It's connected, Eldrin. We just can't forget.
I know. It's on my list. Everything's connected.
Yeah, so you see council members pouring in.
I don't make any attempt to clean myself up either. Just
okay.
Yeah.
You see, do you see Guar like trying to like clean up some of his armor? And
I don't know.
Stop.
I don't think that he would. I mean, no, because I think on the one hand, Guar cares about decorum, but I think on the other hand, Guar also like prides himself in like battling. So I feel like he would just want people to see what he's done. Because I'm beat up too. I'm not nearly as beat up as Eldrin, but I'm beat up too.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think Noros was at like, I had it written down somewhere. I think he only lost like 20 HP at the most. So. And then Wilbur's at like 1 HP now, right? Or is he at what he was when he went down? Okay.
I would say he's at 1 HP. That
I want to know where
out of you.
I want to know where Gerard's at.
Oh yeah.
He's in the castle somewhere.
I think Gerard was in your room, wasn't
he? Yeah, he was put in her room, so I want to know like, well, I guess Eldrin would not. Lorianne wants to know if he's like acting weird. Like he's connected to Saren, right?
That's a good point, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. I'd say in the midpoint of this conversation, you see Gerard. Actually, you don't see Gerard. You hear a commotion outside.
I was gonna say.
That's my boy.
Aww.
Oh, he's gonna do the ghost thing that with like Jon Snow and Ghost.
What a nice kitty.
God, find out what's happening outside. Yes, sir. Opens the door. Gerard comes rushing in, dragging a guard behind him by the teeth, who is like flailing wildly. You can see like cuts all over his face. There are notably no guards that are following Gerard in. So there's just one guard who's like who puts like a trident up to Gerard.
Put that trident down.
Yeah, I step in immediately. I say, Gerard, it's okay. It's okay. Saren's right here. She's right here. We're taking care of her.
This beast, it has one of our faithful princess.
They'll be fine. Drop it, Gerard.
Gerard, down, down,
No,
down.
I say they can be healed. Do not hurt him. He is bonded to her. And I say
roll an animal handling check with disadvantage. Guar.
Guar, because I wouldn't even try with Gerard. Eldrin has told Saren many times that she needs to train this dog cat thing.
Yep. I rolled a nat 1.
No.
Awesome.
I'll do it.
I was due for one. I was due
please-
for one.
Guar, please roll initiative.
Okay. I got a 16 on that.
Okay.
You were not gonna kill Gerard.
Gerard
Absolutely
rolled
not.
A natural 19. Please, Sarah, if you don't mind, because I don't have the thing in front of me, tell me what the attack and the damage is.
Okay.
Why would Gerard attack me?
Because
I
Saren's dead.
arguably have the second best relationship with him.
Could he roll with advantage because of that?
No, nat one's a nat one.
I also he made me roll with disadvantage, so yeah.
It's +6 to hit and a 44 + 4.
Okay. First attack is a 17, which I assume misses.
Yes.
Okay. As Gerard launches himself at you and tries to get into your neck between the armor and the helmet that you, I imagine. Do you have a helmet on? You don't have a helmet on, but I'd say the collar
bubble.
that is just what's protecting your neck. The next roll was a 24 to hit.
It hits.
Okay. You take a full giant cat swipe to the face. Oh, okay. You said 44, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You take 14 points of damage.
I don't have that many points left. Gerard might
I
kill
would have
me.
gone down if that makes you feel better.
So you went down?
No. Not even. No. I still have 20 hit points left.
All right, your turn.
Looking at my spells.
So
Go ahead.
yeah, I was just gonna say you see Gerard pounce on you, kind of like knock you to a knee, and then takes a big swipe at your face, just missing your eyeball. Gerard looks feral in this moment.
I'm gonna cast suggestion.
Okay.
It's a wisdom saving throw, DC 16.
His wisdom has like a +2. Assuming that's it.
Imagining if it's a creature in your race that can hear and understand you. I'll allow it in this case, but I think this is tricky because I don't think Gerard fully understands common.
Oh.
He gets the idea.
Would you understand a simple command?
Gerard's, yeah, I would say make it simple.
Would he understand Elvish more?
Or celestial?
I don't know. That's up to Saren.
Maybe.
Either way, what was the command?
The suggestion would be calm down.
DC
16.
beats it. That's your action. You still have a bonus action.
Yep, I do. And I'm gonna see what my options are. Bonus action. Okay, I'm gonna do a non-lethal polearm master.
Okay.
That is a dirty 20.
That'll hit.
Okay. And then 1d4 plus 3. That is max damage. So 7.
Okay. With that hit, I think you basically send Gerard off you. Gerard kind of skitters to a stop on the side. Fully on Gerard's turn, fully bounds up to Saren, drags her off the table, and then pulls her out outside of the room. Just begins to pull her away from the rest of you.
We're trying to help her.
If you let Gerard's gonna remove Saren from the room.
Do you think, Eldrin, should we let him do that?
I don't know. Do you think he's going to try and remove her from the palace? I don't know where. I don't know where he's bringing her.
That would take some time to do that.
I'm going to grapple him. I'm going to grapple Gerard.
You're going to grapple Gerard?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Athletics check. What is Gerard's athletics?
Oh no. +8.
I'm +7.
Yeah.
That's one
Nora
of
should
his,
grapple him.
skills.
I'm going to use my inspiration to re-roll.
Cool. I'll say Noros helps you with this and you have advantage.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because
sweet. Okay.
he's got grappling strike.
Okay. That is a dirty 20.
That's the total?
Yeah.
Gerard manages to move through both of you as you manage to grab. Rolled a natural 15. Moves through both of you. Is going to decide to attack both of you. First one goes for Guar, misses. Second one goes for Noros, both miss. And then continues as the bonus action to grab Saren and pull her away from you. Eldrin.
Milo, get back at this point.
Yet. Not yet.
What? Yeah.
Eldrin, roll me an insight check.
I just had to say something.
That would be
Yeah, thanks, Kayla.
21.
Hey, my body's
21.
getting dragged around.
Eldrin, you recognize at this point something that may make you Saren's body away from the castle, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Gerard seems to be dragging them away from you guys.
Okay. I yell out to Guar and Norris and I say, leave him. He's just let him take her.
And you see, I think at the beginning of this attack, there's a very vicious sort of growl as Saren's body is Gerard is literally over Saren's body, growling at both of you. Continues to grab the foot and just awkwardly vicious tries to pull the body further and further back.
I say loud enough for the guards that are around and stuff, give him a wide berth, leave him alone. He's protecting his master.
Pulls out the door.
I turn
Ow!
back to Guar.
I was trying to help.
I know.
I'm always
Are you
trying to
okay?
help. No one fucking appreciates it.
Can we pay attention here? There are things that need to be handled now.
Of course, Your Highness.
I turn to Guar and I say, as long as my father is okay with this as well, I would like you to speak for at least our group, Guar, because I will admit, I did not always come off the best, and we need Quetzal on our side for this to work. So, as a person who has been deep in this as you say shit, I would appreciate if you could speak from that experience and try to get them to see reason that there is still a place for them on the council. It doesn't have to be like this.
Obviously, will accept with aplomb.
You just start sobbing.
Yeah,
No,
so just you see Astelin come into the room, a little bemused and like awkward, like as just saw a giant cat pull a dead body out of the courtroom.
And a fresh wound on Guar's face.
And a fresh wound on Guar's face.
But it looks very cool.
Yes, very cool. Fast things forward. To fast things forward. New catchphrase, calling it fast things forward. Your father tells Astelin, shows the map, says this is where we need to take care of this now. Take everyone who is not important out of the castle. In the meantime, I need all of the guards to be on alert and handling the situation. Astelin says right away, heads out. The rest of the, albeit you see a couple of holes on the council table.
Yeah, because I'm assuming Astelin has to handle this, so she's not going to be sitting here. So
no, absolutely.
Yeah.
Not. And you see the rest of the council members there, except for Zaris. Your father takes his seat where he is at, and it seems that the floor is going to be yours, as we all are going to take a quick 10-minute break.
Is Quetzal here?
Quetzal's not made it into the chambers yet.
Okay.
So it is 10:57 right now, gang. I will see you all at 11:07. Bye. Okay.
I just had birthday cupcakes and got these cool ass rings in it because I'm a child. Oh, hold on. See if I can. I'm just gonna. One says I want cake and the other says happy birthday.
I love it. What kind of cake did you get for your birthday?
Angel got me just like chocolate cupcakes. I had my favorite cake on Saturday. It was I like the box strawberry cake because that's what my mom used to always make me. So
The store-bought strawberry cake?
like the box store-bought cake that you make.
Oh,
It's my favorite.
Gotcha,
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Very cool. Awesome.
Yeah, but Angel said that wasn't good enough, and on my real birthday I should get something too. So it was very sweet.
That's nice.
So I was like, guys, we have a 10-minute break. Let's eat my cupcakes. Jaren says I look like the Pope with my birthday rings.
Or a very very flashy mob boss.
Yeah.
We went to Target for Miranda's birthday,
Ooh.
as requested, for the record.
Okay, last year on my birthday, I literally was so excited because I told Jaren, he made so much fun of me, but I was like, I'm gonna take the day off and I'm just gonna go to Joann's and I'm just gonna wander. And he's like, what? And I was like, I don't have anything I want to buy, and it's okay. I just want to wander the aisle. It feels so good.
The aisle of Joann's. Everything's so expensive at Joann's. That's the thing.
You gotta get it on sale, Joe. You gotta have the coupons. You can double up on coupons there.
Yep, that's what it is.
You're not doing it right.
That's what it is. Yes, you're right. You're right. Speaking of doing it right. So the council all collects themselves. I am gonna roll because I think there's a lot of reasons on why Quetzal would not show up.
Yeah,
And
that makes sense.
I know that's what we want, obviously.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna roll because
we're hoping. I know, like Guar and Eldrin are hoping that this is a misunderstanding of like they were taken advantage of by Tal.
Yeah,
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll say it'll be a straight 50-50. We'll close this 11 or higher. There we go.
Can I guide you?
Okay. No, you can't. All right. As the council collects themselves, I think Corvos, the king,
My dad.
your
You
dad,
used his first
your
name.
father, daddy. Hey, it's your dad, Corvos Enerath here. Your father like kind of commands a presence that eventually silences the room. This has been a span of totaling from the time that you've asked your father to call the meeting. It would be probably about 35 minutes.
Okay. Before
so
they
you can
all
wait
get
longer, go ahead.
or before I go in to talk to them. So after the things that happen with Gerard and that calms down and I've taken care of everything that I can take care of at the moment, I do go over to Wilbur and kneel down. And without like saying anything, I just hug Wilbur very tightly.
Oh, okay. Love it.
And I say, I'm so sorry. And I'm glad you're okay.
What are you sorry about?
I didn't. And I say, Quar immediately went and to you, and I couldn't in that moment. I had to figure things out, and I'm sorry that it might have seemed like my priorities were not on you.
This is a great point because I think in Wilbur's point of view, Wilbur just tranced out.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I say, you were already, I couldn't find a pulse, and at this point, I had to figure out, well, there's, not that you're not important, but if I didn't figure out this stuff with the bombs, even if you did come back, you could die anyway, so that's why I didn't do what Guar did immediately. There were other priorities. Are you okay?
I believed you were okay the whole time.
I'm okay. It's okay. You did the right thing.
Okay.
Wilbur, roll me an insight check. On yourself, I guess.
You deceived yourself.
Only a 6.
Okay. You do know what no pulse means. I think with a 6, you're starting to think about no pulse means I was dead.
Yeah, and I think at that, well, Wilbur's thinking, and Eldrin's like hugging him. Maybe he has like a vacant stare behind, like looking behind me because I'm holding him to me,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I thought we had lost you, and I just had to turn it all off. I had to turn the emotions off so that I can focus, and I still have to, but I have a few minutes, so here, and I like give him a hug, like a tighter hug.
Yeah. Wilbur, you think I had no pulse. Why am I here? That's what you get with a 6. As you stare at the dolphin who has made his way into the window trying to peep in.
He won't leave.
That dolphin's been keeping tabs on me my whole life. It's trying to make sure I'm okay.
No matter where you go.
Okay, yeah, that's all I wanted to do before they came in.
Yeah, no, it bodes. I think it bodes like Wilbur. I think you're like in and out on whatever's happening in this conversation. Like, I guess I'm like putting it in the perspective in my head of like, I died. I didn't trance out. I died. Why am I here?
Yeah.
And well, how? Yeah. Also, like, why did that happen? That's never happened before with that. That's supposed to happen.
Didn't his helmet also break and Wilbur could still breathe? I know that's a different
Correct,
thing,
that also
but
happened. Yes. Wilbur's helmet is still broken. Obviously, you're in an area where you don't need to be wearing a helmet, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of questions.
I would, yeah, at that point, I think I would relay that part of the information of like, also, did you know you can breathe underwater?
And Eldrin never actually clocked that. There was too much going on. She's like, what?
Yeah. The thing that came off, and I was ready to take mine off, but it was just breathing under right there. And
I first hold Wilbur at arm's length, and I say, there's a lot we need to discuss and figure out, but I'm so happy you're okay. Number 2, Cor, you never take your own thing, your ability to breathe off to save someone else. You would have died as well. It wouldn't have helped anything.
This is the
Wilbur's more important.
This is the point where you recognize you guys are yelling at a silent room.
Yeah.
Wilbur's more important than me.
You are important too.
Thank you.
You turn around and see an entire council that is waiting. Your father kind of looks to the whole group and just kind of like nods to say as if you have the floor.
Okay. Eldrin is going to walk up and is going in very Eldrin fashion. She just says, Erlin and Darius are dead.
As soon as you say that, the door opens.
Who is it?
And you see Milo just walk through.
Oh my God, Milo. Yeah, so I pause for a second and then go back to, so I drop that and I say, but there's more important things that we need to focus on right now. There is a series of bombs that are rigged up underneath the entirety of Enoria that we need to figure out how to defuse. Erlin died trying to figure that out.
Wow, what the hell happened to your face?
So you don't like it? Had a run-in with Gerard trying to tell him we were trying to take care of Saren, and he didn't believe me, I guess.
Oh yeah, he's not adjusting well.
I apologize for my friends. They don't always understand how to read the room or the situation. I say as I'm interrupted by those two. Speaking of that, the Ixochitl were being manipulated, and I look at my father because I don't know how much he's told them about Tal. And I say, there's a nefarious force that we ran into on land that seems to have also gotten it hooked underwater here. For the time being, we were able to neutralize it, but it's not. He's still out there. But for now, we need to figure out the best way to diffuse all of this. And then is Zaris here?
No.
And I say, which would be extremely helpful if our Archmage was here to assist. But has anyone seen any of the Ixochitl? Quetzal in particular? I say to the council.
You see the council kind of like looking at each other.
I did throw a lot at them.
Yeah, they're kind of in shock.
And remember, I'm like barely standing and I'm bloodied.
Dennis is in this room.
Okay.
So Dennis stands up. It seems that maybe my expertise and services are best served thwarting this threat, no?
At that, Eldrin says, what do you mean by thwarting the threat? What we need to figure out now is how to defuse these bombs.
I believe I should be on the front line of that as one of the smartest people in this council room.
Well, my father, I don't say my father, I say, well, the king has already instructed Astelin to...
Corvos looks at him and goes, you can go. And he runs out. Cedrin. So we are at war with the Ixochitl, it seems.
No. I'm sorry, Eldrin. I must step in. We are not at war with the Ixochitl. You are at war with Tal.
Adeline, another... I think Cedrin was the one that
flirted with him.
Yeah. Adeline, who is another female Triton, stands up. If this is correct, they could have brought down the entire nation of Honoria. If this is not a declaration of war, I don't know what is. Everything we have built up, everything we have worked so hard for over the years, everything that this council has done, there has to be someone that pays the price for this. And this Tal that you speak of, is this a being that could pay the price for this?
Yes, and at that, Elder says he is a being pay the price for this. Tal is not responsible for what is going on here. He's responsible for the death of both of my brothers. We
bring him in. Simple as that. Let's bring him in.
He is a primordial. But do I know that he's a primordial?
I don't know.
I think so. I think Wilbur's explained that. I'm asking, Larian's asking, he is a primordial, right?
He is, in essence, yes. He is
okay.
A member of a living light.
Yeah, so Eldrin's understanding of things, she would just chalk it up to that. So Eldrin says he is a primordial being who we are tracking down and trying to find, and who has had immense influence in all of Imea, and unfortunately, that includes Honoria. So I do not have him here to speak for his crimes.
Dolmos interrupts at this moment. I don't understand. So this is a being that is not here, but is affecting things here, and has possessed an entire race of, let's just face it, what we all assume to be feral, unintelligent creatures.
I turn to Eldrin and I look at her and I do
I nod.
it's our sign language. I nod in appreciation. I then begin to relay what I know about Tall. I won't go into the whole thing, but basically just that how the influence of the cult on my kingdom, on my community, on my lord, whatever it's called, lordship, whatever.
We're all blown up in this time.
The death of my mother, the how it influenced me trying to kill my brother, you
don't mention anything about your brother being responsible for
no. I don't say who my brother is. I just say how it's influenced.
You're like, and then my brother killed your crown.
No. I was not going there, I promise. But basically just like how easily he influenced people, and it took me a lot of work to get out and the help of my friends to get out. And even then, Tall still pursued me and tried to possess me, and I still fought him, and it took my friends to help me through it. So all that to say, like, and then Guar would wrap it up by saying, this being is intelligent, calculated, organized. He knows what he's doing, and he does it very well. He is very good at convincing scores and scores, entire kingdoms and communities to follow him in the name of power, in the name of freedom, in the name of control. These people, this group clearly wanted a say in where they lived, and he took advantage of that. He takes advantage of pain. He takes advantage of hurt. He takes advantage of disdain and despair. If you fight them, if you go to war with them, he will win.
They like the Merid and stuff, so I'll say my theory is the Exochitl were worshipping this Merid, and as we all know, Cyrus isn't here, so I don't care. I say, as we all know, the Merid are vile creatures, and
you hear a murmuring of agreement.
Yeah, and I say, and he was, let's be honest, probably taking advantage of their. We all know. I switched to primordial, and I say, we all know that as Anorians that we have a higher intellect than many creatures.
Murmuring of agreement.
And I say, and we can't fault other creatures for not being blessed by persona as we are. We need to. My theory is that they are scared and they realize that they did something wrong, and we cannot just, especially with these bombs active, we cannot just go on the offense because they have us under their control right now, and you don't want someone who's afraid to have the button of mass destruction.
Jaros stands up and goes,
I hate you.
I don't understand.
I can hate you. I'm sorry. I just got before you even started talking, I got so angry. Like I got this anger billowed up in my chest. Go on.
I forgot about this. This is great.
Sure. Jaros says, so I don't understand. We're supposed to just sorry.
It didn't make me so mad. It wouldn't be so funny. Okay.
So we're just supposed to forgive them for backing the wrong horse, and how are we supposed to know that they're all turned?
Well, they apparently been living.
Know that they're all for us now.
Guar immediately starts laughing in his voice. I'm just kidding, and he doesn't.
And you say they've apparently been living underneath us for God, or I say Persona knows how long. And this is a recent development, them wanting to become part of the council, correct?
Murmur of agreement.
Okay, I say, so something happened recently to turn the tide. And we need to figure that out. And the best way probably is to have a discourse with Quetzal.
Adeline asks to see the map.
Yeah, I think it's like I unfurl it on the table in front of all of them. It seems that no place is safe, considering, according to this map. Otherwise, we would have met in a place that is not currently wired to explode.
I would agree with this. Also, depending on how complicated the explosives are here, it seems like something that has been planned for some time. Based on my knowledge of development, much longer than they have been interested in taking power along the council. What do you say to that, Princess?
Don't like you. I say that very well may be, and that could have been the first part of the plan. We don't know, and we won't know until we speak with some of them, at least. I say our first we need to try to neutralize these the best that we can and make some safe areas and evacuate people to those areas.
And then as Eldrin's finishing that statement, I would just step in and say, you have to understand. Tall infiltrated my home over the course of many years, even a decade. This could have been done in that amount of time. I don't know your relations with obviously Guar doesn't know the relationship with the Chittle before this, but I just know it could have happened a long time, and that Tall works very creepily and slowly and subversively. So.
Oh,
and I
so
say
your argument is he could have been infiltrating this whole thing
for a long time. Because he did it for a long time where I'm from.
Gotcha.
And I say,
go ahead.
Oh, go on. I say, I spoke with Persona on this a few days ago, and he confirmed that Tal does have influence here on in Honoria, but not in the way that I would think, which I can assume is related to the Merid. I'll be completely transparent with you. I asked Tal directly if anyone on the council was compromised.
Your father looks at you and goes, and?
Do you mean Persona?
At that I say, what?
You said you asked Tall. Did you mean?
Oh, sorry, I asked Persona. Yeah.
Okay.
I already told him. I don't know if you remember, Joe. I already told him that no one was. But
told him that no one was. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then we'll say, Raylan says, and
I wouldn't be speaking to you all like this if any of you were. As I said, God damn it. As I said, Persona said that yes, but not, said that no to the council being infiltrated, but that there was influence of Tal in Honoria, but not as I would think or expect.
You are teetering here. I'm going to need a persuasion or a deception check.
Wait, on what?
On whether or not, so technically you're speaking the truth. You're saying that Persona did tell you that there was not a member of the council that was infiltrated in this. There was a member of the council that was involved in this.
Oh, Eldrin wasn't even thinking that. Okay, but
hello, DC.
Okay, so what is it? Deception or persuasion?
Yeah, your choice. Technically, you didn't tell a lie, so I'm allowing you to.
Okay, I'm gonna guide myself. Natural 20 for a.
That's not
You're
enough.
Schneid.
That's not enough.
Damn. And with a -1, it's a 19, but with my +3, it then goes back to a 21.
Cool. Very good. Nat 20, the thought of Erlin leaves everyone's mind as far as being involved at all.
I'm glad my mom's not here because she's the one that I like told things to.
Zaras does enter the room when you use the word Merid. Zaras opens, the council door opens, and Zaras enters.
And I say, maybe our esteemed Archmage can tell us how long this Merid has been influencing the Ixotiddle.
I'm sorry, I was unavoidably detained. I am, albeit a very old man, I apologize. What's going on?
Eldrin is not in the mood, and she says, Zaris, you know what's going on. I've already explained it to you. Can please drop the act for one moment?
Oh, well, if there's a Merid that is at the bottom of this, they clearly should be dealt with and taken care of.
How long has the Merid been inside the Rifu in Memoriam?
This is my first time understanding that there has been a Merid that has been involved in this matter.
I know he's lying.
And I will say, to be fair, I will also roll a deception check for him. I'm not kidding you, he rolled a natural 19.
Okay. I know he's lying, though, because of when we were down there.
That wasn't against you.
Okay.
That was against the council. Who also has no reason to assume that Zaras is lying.
Eldrin then says, very well. We could use your expertise on this map and these bombs and the best plan of action.
Takes a quick look at the map. Evacuation, it seems, would be the first important thing.
Where?
Up, my dear, up. We are a swimming race for a reason. In the meantime, well, if it is true that the being that we have had conversations with is at the forefront of this matter, then this being needs to be dealt with and brought to justice in any way possible.
I'll do an insight check on him. Oh, wait, no, we've done that before. We can't get like a beat on him, right?
Yeah, I feel like I should have like just had you take psychic damage every time you have to do an insight check on him. It's pretty hard. He's not being like his like self though. He's working hard. He's working hard at something.
I feel like Eldrin and Guar has pretty much said everything that they're going to say, right? Unless you can think of anything else, Mike.
Milo, is there anything else you'd like to add? Or Wilbur?
Yeah, Milo's gonna ask Zaris where the Merid's body is.
When water elementals pass from this plane, as I assume you and your party must have ended its life, who is to say where the soul goes? Parts of its body is made of water, so it will most likely disperse into the essence that does make it be what it is. Does that answer your question? And he gives you a very hard look. He gives you a hard look that I would say, I mean, I don't roll intimidation checks against characters, but he's giving you an intimidation check. He's telling you with his eyes, tread lightly.
Yeah.
So it's your.
Does
it's your-
Eldrin notice that he's looking at Milo like that?
He looks wrong, Eldrin. Not like possessed wrong, but he looks to clearly have a point that either he is choosing to hide or choosing to convey. It's really hard to kind of tell here.
As Milo's, are you about to say something? Sorry.
Oh yeah, Milo. Milo's not going to break eye contact and is going to say, "Not exactly, but I have other questions to ask you in private."
Fair.
Where are we expected to go on land? We're currently in conflict with Imea.
Corvo speaks up at that. It seems that we may have missed a meeting that would help to clear some of that matter up. I will speak to the ambassadors to try to get an audience with the king, at least through magical purposes. This matter seems to be bigger than personal. And he does, like, he kind of shoots you a look, Elgin, of like, that's like kind of like he's trying to kind of read if that makes sense to you, like if you're hurt by that.
Oh, Eldrin, yeah, no, she doesn't.
Yeah.
She understands what he's saying. I mean, it's very clear that he has not been listening to her, though, about how Imea is not our enemy. It is Tal.
Oh, no, I think he has. I think the situation in that is also recognizing that there are also 6 other people between you and him. So even in the understanding of like how you two might have an understanding, but he also has to show his intentions clearly to the rest of the council as well.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, Eldrin doesn't give any indication that she's like upset or anything. She agrees with whatever he's going to do.
Well, the clerics are hard at work with Master Erlin. We wish her a swift recovery. I am sorry if this is a tricky question to answer, but it must be answered, and we need to know. You seem to be aware that Master Darius will not be joining us. Has there been any more information on what was discussed on that?
So I'm trying to remember. Eldrin knows, based on what Milo said, that he was inside of the coral thing, right? And then Erlin said,
wall.
Yeah, and then Erlin said that basically that it was a necessary sacrifice or something. Okay, so I can surmise that what happened with Catherine is not what happened with Darius, Darius.
Definitely not the same.
Okay.
I would say like it's yeah, especially for the sake of time, it doesn't sound like Darius is alive.
Yeah.
In any sort of sense of the word anymore.
Yeah, so I would say, as far as I know, I do not think he is alive. Before she died, Erlin all but confirmed it.
Then I assume there is not a body to resurrect either.
we will have to ask Erlin if she is indeed resurrected.
Very well. Well, I would say for everyone's sake, it is best that we adjourn this meeting and tend to our families. We will meet again when there's more information, and I will call upon you. Meeting adjourned. And everybody disperses.
As
Yeah.
they all leave and stuff, when they're gone, I turn to it like my father and I say, "That's it. What do we do now? We just wait till you can talk to the king and sit here hoping that we're not all going to die."
We have our entire battalion underground looking for these bombs. You seem, points to Gorgos, you seem to have some sort of military background. I mean, all of you, if you want to take part in disassembling and possibly fighting some Exitsachittles along the way, you certainly can. Depends on if they put up a fight.
I will do whatever it takes to protect the people that matter.
I don't see what else we can do for now. And we will be on the lookout for Quetzal.
But we have no time to waste. Let's get to it.
Cool. Who would like to be involved in the bomb defusing? Okay, Wilbur's a no. Guar's a yes.
You have to be kind of smart to do that, right?
Oh, yeah.
You have to be military smart. I'm going to tell you they're dice rolls. That's what's happening here.
Okay. I don't think I feel bad, but I don't think Eldrin would involve herself in it.
Okay. Milo?
Milo will.
Okay. So your job is to lead Norian troops into certain areas to be able to purge any Exitsachittl that are there, either by force or by diplomacy. And you're also to take any of the bombs and trying to defuse them with your to the best of your abilities. So, because there's only two of you, we're going to make this very easy. Guar.
Can Noros do it too?
Noros can do it, yes. So I'll allow you to roll on his behalf.
Okay.
Guar, there are multiple areas around Honoria that you can choose to be at. Is there any specific place you want to be underneath?
I would say the places with the highest concentration of a population.
Okay, cool. So that was your first question. What's the highest concentration population? That's where I'm going.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay. Milo.
Milo's going to go to the like cultural touchstones, like the important spaces, like he's probably gonna try and go for the ones under the castle, like near the Rifu, stuff like that.
Okay. The castle's huge.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say like under like any sort of like cultural landmark of the castle. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Where does Noros go?
More underprivileged areas.
Okay.
Where the common folk live.
Where the common folk live.
Which, to be fair, is probably also the highest concentration of people, too.
Probably.
Yeah, it's probably pretty close. I think there's probably like, I would say this is a pretty heavy middle class area, too, though.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, good economy. Nice.
yeah, they're doing
Yes, I feel like he Yeah, he's probably like I said, going to more of the
Gotcha.
the people who maybe are overlooked and would still need help.
Gotcha.
Guar, first. So this is basically kind of like an activity challenge here. Actually, I'll just have you all three do this at the same time. So the first thing I need is a diplomacy check to see if you are able to convince the Ixochitl to drop their weapon, so to speak, and come quietly. So I will allow some convincing here, but I would say as far as Guar's case, I would say it would make sense for it to be a persuasion check.
Right.
Milo, is there any other check you would like to convince me to use?
Sleight of hand. No.
What is
That
he,
was
magic
close up
trick?
magic. Yeah.
No. I think Milo would try to tap into know your truth. Try to tap into like the reality of the situation for these beings. Of the deal they thought they had struck was not well founded, and
Okay.
they're not in a they're no longer necessarily in a safe space right now.
Okay. I love that. I'll allow that, which means that you'll have advantage on your insight check. What about for Noros?
I want to say intimidation because he gives a +3 to it, but I don't know if that's very Norosy.
I mean,
It's an emergency.
Yeah, I would
Just
say
get out,
intimidation.
get
Intimidation in the sense of he doesn't feel it's intimidation, but maybe the Triton way of like the logical, like your god is dead. We want to help you. Let us help you. Like,
Okay. Cool.
Also, we killed your god.
So I'm going to lay this flat out here. So there are 3 checks here. If there are 2 saves, it means that you are not at war with the Ixochitls. 2 failures mean you are.
no.
Make sense?
Yep.
Pick your dice, right?
Pick your dice. You have your rolls. Who would like to go
So
first?
each of us gets one. Each of us gets one roll.
First,
You get advantage because you're using your Know Your Truth.
I'll go first because I already rolled. And I rolled a natural 19, so that is a 27.
That's 1 success.
Let's let Jamie roll.
That was 16 for a 22.
Okay. And now
Another
Noros.
success.
And Noros is thinks that he's not being intimidated as he does this. Oh, 18, 21.
Yeah!
Fantastic.
Hey,
Very cool.
We did it!
So the fact that
We
all
showed up.
3 of you, very, very good. Good job, guys. So the fact that all 3 of you were able to successfully convince the Ixochitl to leave their homes and to leave peacefully will also mean that you find, because you got all 3, it also means that you find Quetzal.
Yes. Okay.
Quetzal is being led by military force, and because of that is coming quietly, because there's
Okay.
pretty much like no other choice.
Yeah.
Okay, so there was that check. The other check is a check to try to basically defuse these bombs.
This is where my husband died.
So,
Okay.
let's talk about what we're using to do this. So, Guar, you're first.
Can I use persuasion again?
To persuade.
Can I persuade the bombs to defuse themselves?
I'm gonna say no.
Okay, I would say like because it would take some physical skill. I mean, I could say athletics, but the other thing I could think of is maybe like perception or insight.
I would accept any of those. I would also accept athletics.
Okay, I'll go athletics then.
Okay, cool. Don't roll yet.
I'm not gonna.
Milo.
Yeah, I'm unmuted. I'm feeling. I said sleight of hand as a joke earlier, but I think sleight of hand maybe like as dexterity, as a like figuring this out manually makes sense to me.
Yep, that totally makes sense. And Noros.
Can he use his like Enorian like military training and do survival, and also including his innate spell casting and doing a wall of water around like the area that he's trying to diffuse, so if they do go off, he can at least mitigate some of the damage to the people around?
I will say it is a straight roll with that, but I will allow the recompense of that to be less.
Okay.
Because I love that. Okay. I almost don't want to tell you. Nat 1 is very bad.
So don't roll a nat 1. Got it.
Can I have inspiration for my birthday?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely, you can have it.
Just because we all know I'm the one that's gonna.
And you're not within 30 feet of Milo, so.
Yeah.
The DC is 10.
Well, sweet, because I rolled a natural 18 for a 25.
Okay. That's one success.
Well, he rolled an 8, but he gets +7, so 15.
That's a success. Milo?
I just like the drama of waiting. It was a natural 13, so 21.
Fantastic. Awesome. Okay. So, I'm also going to roll something. Okay.
Noria is swallowed up into a hole, and you're all dead. Theron wakes up to nothing.
You... that was the difference. Basically, it was deciding if whether or not a character was going to be rolling or the DM was going to be rolling. So
Yeah.
Wilbur, what is Wilbur doing during this whole scene?
Wilbur's left alone with my. Oh, I'm there with me and my dad.
Mm-hmm.
I think Wilbur's just kind of sitting and taking it all in. Considering you said Wilbur's probably down to like 1 HP because he's been through a whole lot of weirdness and psychological shit.
Okay. So you're just trying to just regain health and just kind of trying to relax.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. What is Elgin doing during this?
Did Corvus leave the room, or is he still with us?
Still there. So you could say I don't want to role play anything because we're at the end of this, but
yeah.
No,
I know.
Say that you're instructing, you're talking with your father, and you're delegating. That could be something.
Yeah. I think if it's just like us in a corner, and this is something we can role play next time, but I'm telling him, I'm like, Zaris is not being truthful.
I will say in character, your father says to you, I don't know if it's a good idea to apprehend him. There might be a better way to do this. Maybe if we talk in private.
Fine.
Saren. as you stare, I don't know if I put this in this, but Venicepa had put an ink blot. It's not a blot.
Inkwell.
Inkwell.
An inkwell. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. Put the inkwell in your hand. That was the word I was looking for because it was inkwell, which is a very, very cute sort of play on this. As you stare into the inkwell, you notice the black seems to surround all of you. And you wake up. Wake up's not the right word. You blink, and you are in a jail cell. As you're trying to catch your bearings, trying to figure out what's around you, why you're here. Is that crazy loud for everyone as it is for me?
Nope.
Okay, good. Awesome. Just me? Fantastic. I can deal with that.
I don't even hear anything.
I don't
You
hear anything
see-
either.
Oh, well, then that makes sense. Hold on one second. I might be hearing both your things. No, you guys should be hearing something. I'll bump it up more. Oh, that's not what's playing. That's why. Let me know if that's too loud.
Well, that's
It's
loud.
A little loud.
A little loud.
Yeah.
I don't know why that changed. That was weird. Apologies. So Saren, you're looking and you see a kind of like almost like knotted up, sort of like looking figure in the corner. It takes a second to recognize as your eyes adjust. As you see Eldrin's brother in the jail cell. You were in the jail cell with him.
How did I get down here?
You see a head kind of like lift up, looking. What is this?
I blinked and now I'm here.
Saren, as you start talking, you recognize that in this cave, your voice, sorry, not cave, jail cell. This jail cell is very open. There's a lot of metal. There's a lot of like heavy sort of things, and there's not much to dampen the sound of your voice. So your voice should be very echoey here. Your voice is not echoing at all. You look down at your hands just as you recognize that, and you see through them to the floor. You can see an outline, but that's all. I don't understand. Don't I know you?
Yeah, I'm Farron, Eltron's friend. You're her brother. Why am I in a jail cell? Did you make a deal too?
What?
Never mind.
I don't understand. Are you here to take me home?
I don't know.
Because this massive explosion rocks all around. You can hear as pieces of hard metal clank together all around you, as pieces of this jail cell, of all the jail cells around, start to fall apart as if a huge explosion went off. The ground itself starts to shake, though you cannot feel it, as your feet start to kind of just go in and out underneath the ground below. and the ground itself starts to cave inwards. As you see, I just forgot his name. What the heck's his name?
Volmos.
Volmos. As you see Volmos start to try to grab his bearings, and you see a something. It's hard to tell what it was. Something grabs Volmos's hands and pulls him into the depths. And that's where we're going to end tonight's session. Oh boy. That was a session, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
For the record, this was why I asked specifically where you were going.
Yeah.
No one said
I almost had Norris go to the jail cell.
Yep.
This
Even
close.
I think Milo even said you were gonna go to the castle, and I said where the castle.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all. Well, friends, that was I mean, you all survived, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty great.
You just
Caleb,
love
Becky.
killing my family again and again. You bring them back and then you just kill them.
You didn't seem to be that bothered by him being in a jail cell.
True, because I don't believe that it's him.
Yeah, it's fair. Kayla, excellent work. Very nice.
Thanks.
Welcome back. Welcome back, more or less, to the land of the living.
Welcome back, ish.
You remember what option I changed my answer to, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay. It sounds more like the other thing, and I was confused.
It makes sense to be confused. There's there's some stuff. Yeah, you'll find out. There's some interesting things that are going to be happening here. Cool. Well, let's do a kudos and things that we're excited about, y'all. Thank you all for hanging. I know this is a little later than we've normally done it, so I appreciate you hanging around. But let's go ahead and do our kudos. So let's start. We'll do birthday girl last. How about that? So let's start going opposite order. So we're going to start with Kayla. You're up. Or sorry, no. We would start with Miranda.
Yeah, Miranda's birthday was yesterday, so she doesn't matter, obviously, today.
The start with the birthday girl and with the birthday girl.
Obviously. Kayla, kudos to you for that really intense scene. And for standing your ground with someone who seems to be like the big bad. I don't even know how to explain that. I am excited to see if we can save Honoria and then get the fuck out of Honoria because I'm tired of it here. And that's it.
Cool. Awesome. Kayla.
Kudos to Noros and Milo for succeeding on not, going to war with the Ixochitls and blowing up Honoria, or at least some of it. Yeah, I'm also looking forward to getting the hell out of the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. Just for the record, for everybody, if this wasn't clear, there was no way that I would have allowed you. No, I don't think I would even do that. A nat 1 meant death. Nat 1 meant you're not coming back. So
Bomb blew up in your face.
Yeah, that was a huge you will be commended greatly by Honoria for making that sacrifice. Just FYI. So, very, very cool. Awesome. Jamie.
Hopefully commended monetarily. Because Milo turned down a lot of gold.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, kudos to Kayla. That was that's such a cool step for Saren. I'm excited to see Saren live. Anybody else watch Dead Like Me? It was like an HBO show from like the early 2000s.
Sounds familiar.
I don't think so.
Early 20-something dies and becomes a Grim Reaper. And it's just like a fun, it's just like a fun different look at harvesting souls. But that's what it reminded me of a little bit. I am looking forward to, now that we've kind of shown, I mean, we've held some truths back, I guess, in the interest of preserving legacy.
Mhm.
But now that we've kind of shown Honoria that we have their best interest at heart, I think I'm interested to see how we can leverage that to our advantage.
Yeah, that was definitely not shocking based on your characters at all, but it was something that I didn't really think of. It made sense to downplay Erlin's involvement. That I kind of pictured happening. But to also be like, yeah, and we're gonna fix this thing with the exit channels was like, man, that's gonna be a heavy venture. But I mean, you guys are off to a really good start with that. So it was really cool. I love that. Yeah, very cool. Also, Jamie, you got a really cool thing. I'll send it to you later.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what that is.
Yeah. Cool. All right, moving forward. Mike.
Yeah, kudos to Kayla. That was great. I was really very much like nope that whole time. Kudos to Joe for the voice modulation. I think great job everyone for working together to try to figure out the whole thing. Saving the kingdom as best we could. I am not quite ready to get out of the ocean because I need to still retrace my steps and get Celeste back. So obviously that was way low on the priority list, but now we're getting we've knocked some stuff out, so I'm hoping we can get to that relatively soon because I want my halberd back. I mean, with Celeste. So I'm hoping it's been sharpened by now too. So we'll see. Yeah, and then I'm also looking forward to seeing kind of what to Jamie's point is that how can we leverage this? Can we recruit Honoria to fight with us against Tal on land? That would be kind of cool. So we can see if that could work.
Also, I know it's literally been a week and a half since the bachelorette party / wedding, but it's been far too long since the Mongoose have had a night out together.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking forward to finding.
Technically, it's only been 4 days since the wedding.
Dang.
Oh yeah.
We haven't been in Honoria that long. Our dinner was literally an hour before we went to fight the Marids. So.
I mean, not to further prove your point, but you also did go out to a bar in Honoria too.
That's true.
Yeah.
But no,
it wasn't what he wanted.
It was.
Milo wasn't there. He was.
I want to go to
communing
a place
with the
where
Rifu.
Ewolf.
Oh yeah,
where Ewolf was.
Milo wasn't there.
That's right.
At the bar. Yeah.
Also, yeah. Let's find Ewolf.
Yeah, he's here somewhere.
It is new career.
We have to find. I forgot his name again.
Merc.
No, not him.
Adim.
Yeah.
We'll have to talk to Glorian.
Adele Dazeem.
Adele Dazeem. Yeah, this is fun because I think it's not a secret to anyone anymore that is a PC.
Uh-huh.
So, which also means that is a long game, just FYI. But, yeah, very cool. Oh boy, gang. There's so many threads now at this point that I think as a DM
Thanks for skipping me.
Jeez, I'm so sorry.
On today, the day of my
There's
birth.
so many people that I want to skip over. No,
It's 12:15.
I'm
You don't
so
count
sorry.
anymore.
Birthday.
It's
Yes, 12:15.
9:15 here. So, although I was born on East Coast time, so damn.
All right. So in that case, go ahead, Lorianne. Also,
thank you. Kudos to Kayla because that was so cool, and Joe with the voice thing because you had all of us like freaking out. But Kayla, that was awesome, and the fact that I loved that we got a little like a look into Theron's personality too, because if it had been Eldrin, she would have been like, I can't read this contract and I refuse to sign anything until, and instead Theron's just like, I'm sick of this shit. Just where do I sign? Like literally right after your nat 20 and you learn that it's souls that you need to provide once a day, you're like, where do I sign? Okay, like whatever.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine.
And I also really loved Guar and Eldrin working together for diplomacy because that was fun. I am looking forward to figuring out everything, all these loose threads that we have that are all connected, and getting Theron back, and also figuring out what's happening with Volmos. There's so much happening. And then what was the other thing? Now I can't remember. Oh well, I'm excited about it, obviously.
Yes. There's like I was saying, like there's so many threads now at this point that as a DM, I'm really hoping that you all are paying attention to them so that I can be like, oh yeah, there's that. By the way, this is what's happening during that.
I remember now. I'm excited because it worked. So Eldrin is mad that Zaris is lying to the council, but she herself is lying to the council, and I'm pretty sure Zaris will be able to recognize that as well. So I think that's fun. The juxtaposition of Eldrin being like, "How dare he?"
Yes, 100%. Yes. Also, like I kind of felt like that needs to be a role play sort of scene between Corvos and Eldrin of being like, Zaris needs to be held accountable for it, and like Corvos just being like, okay, you go get him. Like I'm like,
yeah.
If this dude turned against us, it would be bad. Well, gang, we did it. Kayla, like I said, welcome back. Very excited to continue on, as I'm always excited every week with you guys. It's so great. I will see you all next week. Have an awesome week.
Real quick, I may or may not be here next week. I'm on vacation with my family for spring break. I think I can play. It just depends on if I have a space and where we're staying that I can actually play it without waking everybody up. So,
okay,
I'll let you know by like Monday.
It's a good thing you didn't die then.
Yes, it's a very good thing I didn't die.
All right, gang. Well, I love you all very much. Have a great week, and we'll see Kayla try to get into her old body next week. So, bye, guys.
Bye.